mortals, capable of mistakes. The journey's not here to be agonized.
And welcome, mere model lads.
Welcome back.
To another episode of the monthly goals. This is where your two hosts, Kyrin here,
Juan here.
live on the Sunday, 20th of April, 2025. Get together and we do some goals. We talk about how we went for the previous month, what is coming up for the next month, a little shout out to some supporters, going over our fitness as well, and then, yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, this episode is coming out a week later than normal because we have had to pre-record, but Juan, we usually start off with you. Let me know, and we are, not only basically midway through the month, 2/3 of the way through the month, so
Correct.
We're goals are 2/3 completed as well, hopefully.
Well, I went ahead and look, I've predicted what's going to happen in this monthly goals as well, so should be able to call it out pretty easy.
Good.
I'll run through these quickly. 150 kilometer month in terms of running. I'm going to get there.
Yeah,
So I'm at 108 kilometers. So that's 42.
Yeah, 42.
42 left, and I've got 10 days.
Yeah.
I've been averaging roughly around 5 kilometers per day. So
That's a lot of
keep it on that track.
Jesus.
I'm good to go. So I think it's going to be knocked down. In the mind space, I had 3 here, completing the new account and transaction movements into my new account setup. Yep, cool, tick, that's been done. 2, lining up 2 new Mere Mortal in Motions episode. Bow. I'm even going to say I don't think I'm going to find time to do it in the next 10 days.
Sure.
Look, maybe, but I'm already going to go. I don't think I'm going to do that. And planning the next month posting schedule in the back half of 2025. Also, no, I'll talk about it in the following monthly goals, in like my 2025 goals as to why I don't think I was going to do that. The next 3, I've ticked myself off as yes, which is finding the right space in the new place for my daughter. Absolutely, set up a space. She's got her toys, all that good stuff. Completing all the wedding and honeymoon prep. Look, not unsure yet, but I think I'm going to get it done this month. Otherwise, we're in big trouble. And there was a key set of relationship points this month to put more effort towards. And it was heading down to Canberra to go see Joey and his kid.
Yep.
It's my partner's coming up birthday. High quality as opposed to quantity. And then the last one in April is going to be making space for a half-day retreat for myself. Look, I've put it down for now as no, because I don't think I'm going to find the individual time. But again, I'll address it in the May as to what that looks like for a couple of these things. And again, so timing-wise, April, May's coming up, and we'll talk about the May goals. But then June, I'm basically away for the entirety of May, June. And then I'll be back for 1 month of July before my new goals, new year begins.
That's correct.
We're going to get, at least for me, it gets pretty close now to the end. And my annual goals are just about done in the sense of I've pursued the things that I wanted to. Some of the others I've closed off because maybe it wasn't the right intent behind them. Long story short, I'm getting ready for the new set of annual goals.
Sure.
So,
yeah. Okay.
That's right. April is so far.
So April was pretty good, would you say?
Yeah, I'd say April was pretty good. Again, like some of the
Had a lot
goals
going
stuff
on.
that I called out there was some evidently kind of like stretch things that would be fun to do. But beyond the goals listed there was just like a ridiculous amount of things accomplished, finished in April so far. That is like a huge tick.
Yep. Nice. Awesome. Okay. So my April 2025 goals. Now, I already mentioned some of these, so such as taking the plunge, asking the friendly ones out at the gym. We heard my story in the last episode.
Correct.
Of how that went. Got rejected. But I did that with 1 or 2 others. Going out of my way to be super social and ticking off lists. Kind of like I had all of this stuff saying like, oh, I'm going to catch up with this guy. This guy invited me out to this volleyball thing on a Thursday. There's a Queensland Ballet stuff I could go to on a Tuesday evening. A lot of that I'm like, I do want to do, but I'm probably going to do it after I come back. So have I gone out of my way to be super social? I feel yesterday, to be honest, I did pretty well. I was half going like, I don't really want to go to the run club. But then I went, nah, you'll enjoy it. Juan's going, Manshield's going. Make sure you go. And so I did, and it was great. I enjoyed it. So half.
Okay.
Reevaluate the backup system and travel precautions. This is terms of some crypto-related things, or especially backing up hardware wallets and things like this. I will be doing that. I have actually been listening to a lot of things related to wrench attacks, and especially because I'll be traveling in Europe. I'm going to a crypto-related thing there, so certainly it's been on my mind a bit more in terms of, okay, last time when I was in Brazil, I was in the middle of nowhere and no one was interested in, the gringo who
Sure, for sure.
may or may not have had Bitcoin.
But if you're in the middle of this Bitcoin group,
yes,
people know that you're there for that.
Yeah, and I wish it was a Bitcoin group. It's a Hosky group, but
even more loaded.
yeah. But in any cases, I've been listening to some podcasts around that stuff, and it's rather interesting. This is why I quite like Andreas Antonopoulos, Jameson Lopp, another good person to listen to if you're interested in security-related things in terms of layers of security, how you might do it. I find the whole concept rather interesting of, exposing, saying, you might want to show this is how your security practices work so people then don't try and attack you because they know they're not going to be able to get anything. But then by showing that, you're then reducing your security because now it's out in the open, that sort of stuff. It's a really interesting set of trade-offs. I quite enjoyed doing that. Record and analyzing a good one-arm handstand at the park. Well, I had recorded and analyzed. It certainly wasn't a good one. I felt shit. It's on YouTube now if you want to see it. And it wasn't at the park. It was indoors. Look, I don't know what to say about it other than that I'm still doing stuff. And if that's a 6 out of 10 day, I got to be reasonably happy with it. So I might do another one out of the park, but that'll probably actually be next month if I do it. Start defaulting to spontaneous, overly joking. I'm trying to do it a bit more. There's times where yesterday, for example, I was like, I could have, if I said this probably would have gotten a laugh. But I didn't say it. Well, I didn't hold back. It was more like I realized 5 seconds later. It's like, oh man, I missed a good opportunity then. Have the first month more or less booked in. I probably will be doing that in these next week, but that might slide over into May, and that's in terms of travel. I certainly have an idea of what I'm doing and just need to do the actual booking. Booking through Ryanair, Juan has told me is, Juan's partner has told me is rather tedious.
It just seems like European travel, or at least internal travel, seems real annoying.
And traveling with 2 suitcases is going to be interesting. Meditating more, bringing back steeliness in places I'm starting to slip up. I have been doing that really well. And do the pull request changes the Morpheus GitHub. That I'm not doing. That's just off out into the distance, unfortunately. One of those ones where, kind of be nice to do, but no. So that is the April goals. That we have been doing. This is a chance where we like to call out some people who are supporting us, who are helping us. I actually see there's a couple of YouTube comments, so I'll bring that up right as we here. Scholar Vision. Hi guys, long time. Watching you guys since you had a podcast. Recently hit 100k subs and it's exploding in the intellectual space. It's for us. What's up for us?
Oh, damn.
Scholar Vision. Let me see if I can quickly go to their channel, check them out. I know he's been doing stuff. He had an interesting channel because he was doing it in Hindi. So even though I could, but all the titles would be in English.
Oh, right, okay.
So
kind of like
I'd click on one and
lure you into thinking it was going to be
I'd click on one and I wouldn't be able to. I'm not sure that's actually someone who is, if it's his channel or someone who is watching for us. If you want to clarify that, that'd be awesome, Scholar. But yeah, in terms of so we haven't had much financial support this last month, and that's because we ourselves haven't
really been around.
We've been spotty at best with our both in terms of content we're producing, and then I think also in terms of the our call outs and getting people to do this.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't been present and available for it. We haven't been calling it out or pointing people to go that way. So it makes sense.
Yeah, I think in terms of the kind of value for value sum up as well. I'm always on the lookout for, I really enjoy the concept of value for value in terms of gaining interaction support. I didn't mention this in the equanimity episode, but one thing I noticed in the Morpheus Discord, for example, is you get these shit cunts who just come in and they're like, where's the team? When price? What's this project? Blah, blah, blah. And as a moderator, you need to have and in the VFriends Discord as well, people come and shit talking about other people like, this guy tried to scam me, we were talking about a private sale, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, I would not have the patience for this. I would see this stuff and be like, dismiss. I don't give a fuck. You're coming in here with a shit attitude. You'll get a shit attitude in return. And this is probably why we haven't encouraged a lot of this, is because this is likely what would happen.
Look, and there's also, I think to that point, there's a level of effort that we are putting, but there's also a level of opening up ourselves to not more maybe more interactions that maybe we don't want to be having, where we both will be like, we just don't want to spend our time on that.
It's, what I love about the podcast is making connections with people, but it's the real life stuff. So, I'm going to go see Dimelix in Germany and hang out with him. We're going to do a car trip to the Hosky thing. That's going to be awesome. I caught up with Cole, Peter, Dave Jones last year. That was all awesome. And none of that required an active Discord on our part. None of that required,
correct,
a constant maintenance of checking in. Hey, how you going, bud? Do you remember me? Let's create some engagement. Let's form some synergies, fucking whatever. It's the kind of perennial, like, I would love to have these interactions, but then I know I also don't want certain types of it. So I think we've got a nice boundary point at the moment. You might be noticing soon a different website popping up in some of the tags, meremortalspodcasts.com. Got to chat with Juan more about this, but basically my brother's created like a light version of our current website. And that might be the place to go to. It'll still have the same support page and things like this.
Correct.
Just a
light version. Yeah. Makes it easy.
Yeah. It's pretty similar, to be honest. But you'll notice like the leaderboard, for example, is not showing up on there like I used to have and things like that. And that's because it's more of a static website rather than a constant updating. But everyone who has supported in the last quarter, for example, of quarter 1 of 2025, thank you very much. Very much appreciated.
Very much
Those who stream, we do see them. We very much appreciate it.
Yeah, because it's still a stream that come through, which is it's still nice to see that it's still coming through the back end.
Let's jump into some
Mays
more
are
goals.
There's going to be easy ones to
goals
talk to, because there's only 3.
Oh,
there's only 3. I'll put one in the mind, one in the body, and one in the soul. Why? Again, I said it just previously. My annual goals starting to now come. I'm winding down. Quite a whole host of them, I think. Off the top of my mind, I've achieved, and again, I can get into the details at a later point, but I've achieved 86% of the things I wanted to for the annual goals.
Nice.
So my line that I want to achieve on an annual basis is 85%. So I've just creeped up over that. But interestingly enough, I think my monthly goals sit at like 78 or 77% on average. So slightly less of the monthly goals being achieved, but annual goals a little bit higher. So that's just how I worked out on the numbers. So 3, 1 from a body perspective, enjoy the final month before a big holiday to reset. So in May, I've got the half marathon, but realistically, all of the hard work in terms of running is being done now. So really, it's just enjoy the final bit of running, enjoy all the training, because I'm not going to be doing a lot of that while I'm away. So it's going to be a big reset.
What do you want in terms of a time or a feeling or what would constitute a success after that? Coming out?
I think success would be, look, I'll be realistic. Success would be completing the half marathon without stopping. Yeah. I think that would be a success. Okay. I'd be really happy with that. Sub 2 hours would be...
What's the longest you've run?
I've done a half marathon on a treadmill,
but
I think I jumped off 3 times to go drink some water.
Okay.
So, jumped off. But I think that was like 2 hours and 18 minutes, something like that. So I'd like sub 2. Okay. That would be like a good dream.
Yeah,
so we'll see what happens.
That was what I was going for when I did mine.
So just enjoying that final month. 2 on the mind side, no stress on the calendar for this month. Just create as much as I can for the mere mortals and schedule. So I'm not going to do the calendar this particular month, and I called it out previously in April. It's not the right time for in May. I'm going to be kind of going into the lead in to be like leaving a couple of days at the end of it. Just where everything sits right now, if I really overtly plan for it, I don't know if I'm going to achieve it. It might make me feel a bit like, I've got to replan it, but I'm not going to be around for a while. So what I'll go in instead is, look, I have a whole host of things that I want to create. I'm going to just rather set up some particular days through the week. Where I'm like, I'll just record as much as I can on a day. You're seeing this sort of setup now, Kyrin. It's in my workspace as well. So, I do find myself with an hour of space. bing, 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 set it up, cool, go. 1 hour, just do as much as I can, create it, record it, set it up. So, yeah, a little bit less stress than calendar. I'll drop the little hint here. There is some stuff that I'm planning on doing, hopefully, when I'm back from holidays. And if it works out the way that my mind is thinking it's going to go, it's going to be ballistic in so many ways, And so I also want to give myself some time in preparation for what's to come. And the last one, I know to take a half-day retreat to plan and adjust my overarching visions. So this doesn't have to be all in one go. It's just to be, in summation, about half a day's worth of just thinking through, just to prepare myself on what do I kind of want to do for the next annual goals? What are all these things that I'm thinking about in my mind? Enough so that when I do go on this big holiday, I know myself, I'll ruminate, I'll think about it while I'm on this sort of travel. I'll get itchy like fingers and feet and being like, I want to get into it.
Yeah.
But writing it beforehand will help me just kind of like tease it out. Is that correct? Do I really want to? And of course, I have my phone and stuff on me to be able to make edits to these ideas. But doing it enough in May will help it kind of like set the seeds for what I'm going to do over the next month, basically. So,
for those who maybe recall this from previous episodes, what did Juan do last time he was in Greece? Did he enjoy the sunshine? Did he drink some nice ouzo and chill out by the beach?
I did, but I also got really heavy into just
property.
ideas and things like that.
It was property. You tell me you're like looking up. No.
I know.
Interest rates and
specifically, I had a couple of like blank white papers, and I was going through like doing the numbers on, if I bought this property, which was 120 kilometers east of Melbourne, and it was on the train line, and then I was like on the north side, it's a little bit more expensive housing and X amount of money, but south a little bit cheaper, and this is a good street. Yeah. I remember going into all this detail of it. Again, this was 2017. Yeah, I'm sure this will happen again. And there's no doubt in my mind that something equivalent to this will happen. In fact, I would almost say it's certainty that the thing that's been on my mind for the last few months will pop up in this particular trip. So that's why I've got to like preload myself so that I don't drown the holiday with all of a sudden I have all this free mind time because I'm not doing all this other work. And so my default will be like, fill it with all this stuff. So It's got to be careful.
My brother went through a wine phase a couple of nights ago where he keeps hearing this assumption that, you've got to get into the property market now. You're going to be outpriced, in 10 years, 20 years time. And he's always been saying like, but if you just invested in the stock market, like, would you be equal or not? Yep. And his friends are like, you're paying someone else's mortgage, like insulting him and whatnot. Yep. And so he one night, 2 a.m., he couldn't sleep because this was on his mind. So he created a spreadsheet of, these are the assumptions, you pay this much. If you had an equal person salary, they're paying off the mortgage, but you'd have this much extra if you're a renter to invest in the stock market, etc. And what was the main outcome? The main outcome is your assumptions can change everything, because if you change one number from 1.03 to 1.05, the renter is well ahead. Yep. And then if it's the opposite way, and you assume your appreciation of the house is ever slightly so more, it changes dramatically as well.
Oh, for sure.
And so it's all about the assumptions.
There was
and it was roughly equal. It is what my kind of understanding was.
Yeah. When I was in the Lewis Mocker's School of Mastery, he created a spreadsheet which made it really beautiful for people to download. It was essentially the same thing. It was the difference between you renting and investing it elsewhere versus buying the property. And it was the same. It was if you change this light figure, it would then all of a sudden at 20 years you start making a profit. But if you do this, it's 15 years. And so you can play with the numbers.
20, 30 years, it comes down to, funnily enough, the intangible things. Do you prefer having a nest egg home?
Yeah, correct.
That will please your wife, or do you prefer having financial freedom in the sense of more liquidity and if you don't have to have a steady job to pay off your mortgage every single month of the year, that sort of thing. So there you go. So one spreadsheets. You had a lot of time to think about those assumptions.
Good.
Okay. My May 2025 goals. Got a big blank here,
people. Okay.
This is one of the times. This happens probably about once a year, I think, for myself, where I don't particularly want or have the need to write down a set of goals Usually this, I find, happens in like a transition period of some sort. So I can see, it's very delineated. May 15, I'm going traveling right in the middle of the month. So what will I be focusing on the 2 weeks before that? It'll be getting ready to travel. Last minute prep, packing, all this sort of shit. I don't need to write goals for that. What will I be focusing on the 2 weeks afterwards? Well, that's the hectic period where it's like you're on the move a lot. You're getting into the mood of traveling, things like that. So I didn't want to write down any goals because part of them are just going to be carryovers from the April ones.
Yep.
And the May ones, like, what's going to be my goal related to travel when I'm there, or like language learning? Am I going to be focusing on AI when I'm, at the PodCamp 2.0 conference or at the Hosky conference? No. So everything is kind of going out the window. But, I feel like when I'm in June, even though I'll still be traveling around a lot, I'll have a bit more of a, it's a new phase, I guess.
Actually, that's a good point of phrasing that way, because I think the reason for mine being really low on the amount of goals as well was probably similar to that, where I can feel that, okay, this whatever phase this was, probably a year, let's just say, of what it was. It was like, it was a lot of preparation and thinking of the new change and all this. Now it's all happened and it's about to be the final bit, which is the big trip away to Europe and everything. And it does really feel like post that is going to be a very different phase. And I think seeing it in the goals as well, it's almost like, it's starting to just like tidy it up, just leave a blank in the preparation for what's to come. So I can see that.
All the stuff should have been done already. So, financially wise, I should be well suited for Europe. I'm not. It's going to be interesting. Fiat wise, I'm running low, people. Language learning wise, how's my German going? I wouldn't know. I haven't touched it in 6 months.
Oh no.
All this sort of thing. These are the type of stuff where it's like your goals are almost prepping for the big stuff that comes up. Now, none. I don't think I have anything really related to this is like the annual goal. This is all going to be a side tour in essence of traveling. So. Will I try and continue doing handstands whilst there? Yes. Am I going to try and be doing 4 days a week with really immaculate preparation and, XYZ filming and recording? No, it's not unlikely. It's not happening.
Not happening.
So, in essence, actually, I'm turning the dial down on many things. I'm trying to promise myself 2, maybe 3 days a week maximum of some sort of exercise. I'm doing 6 at the moment, and do them half the amount as well.
Sure.
Book reading, I'm planning pretty much on not really doing book reviews, and if I do, they're going to be haphazard. AI stuff, I'm going to leave all of that. No more Morpheus stuff.
Yep.
Content being related or released, and podcast consumption. Whilst I'm in Europe, no, I probably want to be going outside more and not with earbuds in. I'd rather be interacting with people and doing stuff. So May is just going to be a bit of a blank, and we'll see what happens with June.
There you go. See, it's a bit of a. I wouldn't say it's a bit of a blank. It's just a bit.
Weren't expecting that, were you?
The canvas is ready to be painted with whatever comes around in May for us.
The goal is to have no goals.
Correct. Yeah. It's a zen way. How someone comes and asks us like, the mere mortals, they talk about annual goals and how to do goal planning. It's probably the wrong one to go and listen to for the May one, but
the goal is no goal.
The goal is no goal. Sometimes the goal is no goal to enable you to be prepared for the goals to come.
Yeah, exactly. Now we do a fitness section here, and we'll give an update. But I also want to hear about your fitness plans for whilst traveling.
Yeah, so, I was going to like consumers. Cool. So look, fitness wise, for me, it's been going like ridiculously fun. I'll say fun. It's been good, but
108 Ks.
Yep, 108 kilometers of running.
So I'm not sure I ever did that much. Like 150 in a month. I'm sure I did 100, but I'm not sure I got up to 150.
So it's been like a lot of running. That's been awesome. The joints and things have been feeling good. The last time I got to like high volume, I started to feel a bit of niggles. No niggles now, which has been awesome. Something I didn't talk about in April, but it was just kind of fun. As part of running, I got to get like free shoes, free shirt, free shorts from all the running. And that was really cool. Fun event to do in the morning. I was only there for an hour and a bit, but it was a good event. With ASICS, so got all the good stuff for the new Brisbane headquarter launch. it was, I think fitness wise has been like, really rock solid. All of my general lifting, other movements, all have either held or slightly improved as well. And that's been with basically stepping back 50% of the load of training and then putting that 50% into running. So when it comes into Europe, and I didn't plan it to be this way, but it's going to be interesting given that I'm just going to be coming in real red hot from a lot of running. It's probably what I'll be doing a lot is running. And I kind of wanted to do that so I get to explore each area that I'm in.
Yeah.
So I will, I just talked about it earlier. I'm roughly doing about 5 kilometers a day, kind of on average right now on volume. Look, I'll take a couple of days off after the half marathon and probably like relax a bit. But my plan is probably to do around 5 kilometers every morning while I'm traveling and just get to see the areas wherever I'm around. Likely in places where I'm going to be a little bit longer, maybe in Croatia, probably in Mykonos. I will hit the gym once or twice and find a gym somewhere, but I'm not expecting it. If anything, I'll act in the way that I did when COVID was around, which was lots of push-ups, lots of sit-ups, lots of air squats, pull-ups if I can find like a bar or something to do it with, and then running. That'll be basically the essence of it for the entirety of the trip.
Yeah, nice. So you can actually check out my progress in a certain extent because I put up another video recently of the one arm handstands. I would say I'm going great. To be honest, the preparation for them, I'm still having plenty of like 6 out of 10 days. 7 out of 10 is still the usual. Sometimes they're 8 out of 10. Not hitting any numbers in terms of like the fitness challenge. So, 10-second one arm is, I think it's actually 15. So that's rather far off.
Yep.
But, I'll hit PBs, which are unrecorded. It feels like I've just hit the right spot. Right arm, really good. Left arm is just, it just feels like, what the fuck? They're the same arms. I've probably got roughly the same strength in them, but there's just a night and day difference, and everyone feels this pretty much. I'm definitely progressing, and it feels really good. It's going to be interesting seeing in Europe. So I'll be traveling for roughly about 2 months, so mid-May to probably mid-July, I'm thinking. Maybe it'll slightly extend. So 2 to 3, I think maximum 3. And I intend to do essentially probably 1/3 of the volume I'm currently doing. And I'm really going to be interested to see what happens, because there's been periods in my life where I'll do really, really intense, basically not miss any sessions. And then the real gains kind of come after taking a break of some sort. Body, super compensates or whatever.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens. So, I wouldn't be surprised if I hit some PBs poorly prepped.
Training sessions,
just random session in Greece by the pool or something, and I hit a PB. That's totally possible. And then once I come back, it'll be like, all right, let's get back into this again.
And then that's also like an exciting period where you're like, oh, okay, I'm like, it's a nice pullback, and then you get the hunger of like, oh, I'm hungry to be able to get back into the routine of doing it quite a bit.
Yeah,
I think everyone who enjoys training will find that for sure.
Yeah. So, I have even thought like, I've got the extra baggage. I could take some running shoes, and it would be nice to do some seeing of Europe, and certainly just running around would be nice for that. And I'm not going to be training hard, so it's not like I'm missing out on handstands by doing that. So that's a possibility for sure.
Good.
I do see some extra chats in.
That's what I wanted to bring up, just to see if there was any others.
One's going to bring that up.
Scholar Vision said, "I'm not Faraz," but he was saying, "Desi Philosopher, his channel. I'm not Faraz. You guys are doing a great job. Kudos to you."
Thanks, mate.
Scholar Vision, really appreciate it, mate.
Yeah, very much appreciated. I hope you're doing well. Hope Faraz is doing well. It's been a while since I've checked in on him, and when I learn Hindi, if I learn Hindi, one of our friends speaks Hindi, so maybe I'll get mentioned.
Correct. Maybe he'll teach you at least some
Translate
words.
and check them out.
Yep. Look, this is probably going to be. We will do a monthly goal. I don't even know if we will do a monthly goals for next monthly goals.
So like the next, we'll do one, but yeah, we'll just do it like a back, kind of like now.
Yeah,
I
similar.
think I won't be able to do anything in England, but when I'm in Poland, which will be end of May, I think I will have a location.
Have some location to be able to do it from.
to be able to
So look,
do
play by ear, me and Juan and I, we will tell you. So open up those ear holes. I think we'll leave it there for now. Me and Juan, we'll be doing the double up today. Be well wherever you are in the world. May is coming. If you've got some, by the way, if you've got some interesting goals as well, share with us.
Yeah, would love
Always
to.
be good.
Love to hear those. Reach out. Any of the social media links down below.
Correct.
Onto the video as well. We see the comments. Join our Discord if you just don't come in like a shithead. That's all I ask.
Otherwise, we're definitely going to delete you.
No.
We'll leave it there.
Probably won't.
Be immortal lads. Be well. One out.
Kyrin out. Bye.